next week on July 15th, YouTube is updating its terms of service. And I've seen a lot of discussion over the past week on what exactly this means. So I want to take a minute here to discuss and give my thoughts on it. All right, so right off the bat, we don't have the full information on exactly what this update entails. A lot of people are doing a little bit of fear-mongering with it. You know, they're saying a lot of things are going to be excommunicated that they just aren't confirmed to be. They might, but they're not confirmed. And the main thing that people are focused on here is monetization, and specifically monetization with AI content. So a lot of people are very excited about this change because they think, and some people are perpetuating, that all AI content is going to be demonetized, and there is nothing suggesting this. The policy update doesn't even directly call out AI as the thing that is going to be changed. And I'm sure there are going to be impacts to AI. I'm not saying that at all. I'm sure that this is going to affect AI, but it's not a removal of all AI from monetization. I've seen a lot of people worried about text-to-speech voices. I've seen people worried that using a text-to-speech voice is going to get them demonetized. These have been around much before this AI boom. I don't think it's going to be affected. So anyway, let's get directly into the actual statement. Updates to YouTube Partner Program monetization policies. In order to monetize as part of the YouTube Partner Program, YouTube has always required creators to upload original and authentic content. On July 15th, YouTube is updating our guidelines to better identify mass-produced and repetitious content. Don't know if that's a word, repetitious. This update better reflects what inauthentic content looks like today, right? And that's all we get for now. So we'll know more next week, but I just want to give my thoughts on exactly what that means and, you know, kind of just on the situation in general, right? So repetitive content is a big umbrella. People have had beef with reaction channels for years. This has been an ongoing debate. Do those count? Because those are repetitive. Those aren't original content in, you know, the most basic sense. It's all based off of somebody else's work. So there are some people thinking they might be targeted. And I wouldn't be surprised, but I also don't think it's probably primarily targeting them. I think mostly this is probably going to affect AI slop, right? Like mass produced, very little effort, very little human element. I think that's probably the primary target of this change. But like I said, we don't know. One thing that I don't know if it will be affected, but when it says mass produced, like these clips of TV shows, like Young Sheldon, Big Bang Theory, Breaking Bad shorts. In my opinion, these could fall under this umbrella pretty easily. The stuff that you can use these clipping websites for, do very little work and upload these. And these Subway Surfers kind of deal, I think those are probably also a likely target potentially. But all that is to say, we don't know. There's things that are arguable that take less effort than others, and there are repetitive elements to all of these things that I mentioned so far, but it remains to be seen. I just want to pull the lens back a little bit, right? YouTube does not make big changes almost ever. I think the biggest change I can remember is like the demonetization arc, right? And that was kind of a public freak out. That was really the biggest thing. And, you know, there were some more extreme events that led to that, right? So YouTube does not tend to overcorrect. I think this is going to be a lot more of a subtle, minor change than some people are thinking. I don't think they're banning text-to-speech software. I don't think they're banning AI visuals. And again, this is in reference to monetization. You're not going to get your video taken down for using AI in it. All right, so that's it, basically. I mean, I might cover this with more complete info if I think it's worth doing next week, but now I just kind of want to give my broader thoughts on these changes. First and foremost, I think I and many other people are just outright against the idea of censorship. And in a way, taking the monetization away from content like this, to me at first, like a knee-jerk reaction, I'm just kind of like, whoa, like, because, you know, if it can happen, I'm not monetized on this channel, obviously. It's a very small channel. But, you know, putting myself in their shoes, I'm like, that would kind of suck if one day you're making a livelihood off of this, because there are people who have been having a lot of success with this stuff. And I don't like to prey on other people's downfall, you know? I can just imagine it would suck that you're having all this success with this and it gets pulled out from under you. So on one hand, I have empathy for that. On the other hand, as somebody who makes stuff and consumes stuff, I don't like AI slop. Most people really are against it, understandably, in most cases. So I think this is a pretty good middle ground, right? Taking away the monetization, not outright banning it all. So, you know, there's no direct censorship. And if people actually like producing the content in a creative sense, they still have that option. Like I said, it kind of sucks, potentially people losing out on their livelihood, but there's always the opportunity to be more transformative with it. I'm sure you're going to be able to use the AI tools. You just might have to put a little more effort in, because let's be honest, some of it, the reward to effort that's put in is just not proportional at all. So it's not a simple issue. I think people are really trying to force this into like a black and white situation too much, you know? It's more complicated than that. It's not all good or not all bad, and it's difficult. I'm sure they've thought through different potential solutions, and I think this is a good one. The content is going to remain up. I think it will cut down on the volume of slop by far, if it correctly targets what most people think it's going to target. Because a lot of people, there's been a big influx of people, right? I've been seeing posts everywhere, all over TikTok, every other scroll. It's like, this is how to do YouTube automation. So I think that will like cut down on that a lot, because if people aren't making money on it, they're not gonna join in like that. And I mean, I guess your opinion on this is kind of just gonna depend on how you feel about art, I guess, or content creation, because it's a difficult subject. Because I think there's good elements to AI stuff that can enhance a video. There have been times where I've like been driving or something and I don't want to be like writing stuff down or stuff. I've just had like a chat with chat, where I kind of was like, you know, giving it stuff and bouncing ideas off of it and making like a rough outline where I could do it later. Like stuff like that I think can be really helpful. But you know, there is a point where you have to recognize the level of effort and the return that some of this stuff produces. So I don't know. I don't think it's a black and white issue. We'll know more exactly what they're targeting next week. I mean, for all we actually know right now, every single reaction channel is actually just going to be smited off the earth. We don't know. But a lot of people are very happy with this announcement and this potential change. I do not have an issue with it if it's gonna, you know, trim the fat a bit, because it is a problem having slop in general. But, you know, I just also want to recognize that it's not like an easy black and white situation, you know? And at the end of the day, people are making stuff to entertain other people. So if people are losing out on these videos that they enjoy, that kind of just sucks too, you know? It's not a great situation in general. I'm not for slop, but the point of this entire platform is to make stuff that people like watching. And if it takes away from people watching things they enjoy, that's unfortunate. But at the same time, I recognize there needs to be a level of quality, and realness is appreciated. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it up to this point. A lot of people are overreacting. I think we all gotta take a chill pill. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this one. The people that are super happy, just calm your expectations a little bit, right? They don't make big changes all at once very frequently. They will usually start with something, do micro adjustments, get their feedback, see how stuff works out. So time will tell. And that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. But don't let the misinformation get you too bad. There's a lot we don't know. People are acting like they know more than they do. So that's it for now.